Okay, here we are. Final video in this video series of doing the crankshaft seals and quick tune-up here on the 272 XP. Took me a while to actually to get this video ready to post because I really struggled with this side. So this is the flywheel side seal, and the video was really long. And I had to shorten to do lots of editing and then voiceover, so that's why it took so long to get this thing posted. But anyhow, so here we are. We're trying to dig out the seal. So this is the hardest part, without doing any damage. So I just really like to take my time. So at first thing I do is poke a little hole into it, and then slowly work this screwdriver. I kind of put it on a grinder and made a little step in it. So I can get it in there, but it's definitely not something you want to rush. Take your time with it, or else you'll end up scoring up, the mating surfaces, and just kind of slowly but surely work around at it, and boom, it popped out. So success. But that took me probably 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes they'll pop out in 5 seconds. But this bugger really gave me a go. So yeah, got the seal out. You can see it there, completely destroyed. It's nice when they come out easily because, if you didn't actually have a spare, you could measure it and then find a replacement for it. But, luckily I had the replacement already, so I didn't have to measure it. So just cleaning it all up as best as possible with some brake cleaner, and had a Q-tip there to go around, make sure there's no, built up crud on it. Yeah, here we are with my seal driver. Try and, line it up nicely. What was I doing here anyway? I guess finding a seal. Oh, here I am with my grease trick. So I seen somebody do this one time. Just put a little bit of grease inside where the garter spring is. And the whole idea is to try and prevent the spring from popping out when you're installing it, because you'd never know if the spring came out. Yeah, so the idea is just put a little bit of grease in there. That'll keep the spring from popping out. You don't want to load it up too much because the grease, it takes a while to dissolve. So yeah, long video here. Cut some out. Here we are coming back with my homemade seal driving tools. Here's my little pop can trick that I learned from, I think it was, who was it? That Tinman Saws. I seen him doing this actually. And I've seen a couple other little tips about putting tape and everything else. So tape is a nightmare. So this was actually a really awesome tip that I seen from Tinman Saws. So if you're not familiar with his videos, definitely do a quick search. Tinman Saws. The guy has tons and tons of content, and he's got a real good attitude and real helpful guy. Posts all kinds of tips and stuff like that. And this is one that I picked up from him, and it's a beauty. So basically, you just it helps you to get over. There's usually the crankshaft is tapered, but there's a little lip that sometimes the seal will catch on, and it can cause you all kinds of problems. So if you just have this, helps you kind of slide it right over. There's no lip, it's just cone that slides down. And driving seals in, it can be quite frustrating. The first couple times I did this, I destroyed the seals and wrecked it, and it would take me 4 seals just to get one sealed properly. So thankfully those days are becoming less frequent, and if you just take your time, you can get them in right. So the whole idea is to try and make sure that you get them started fairly straight, as straight as possible, because once you start hammering them in, if they're crooked, they'll keep going crooked, and they're a son of a bitch to get them to go straight again. So seal in nice and flat, got the tapered pop can in there, put a washer in about the same size as the crankshaft, and then bigger than the actual cavity is going down into, so that the washer will drive it flat flush with the case. But this one is something that, you know, can be really challenging. Is it actually, it goes in deeper, it's countersunk, and this is really common on a lot of saws. So the first thing is to make sure you drive it. Well, the first thing I do, you know, different people may have better tips, and if you do, please share it here. But yeah, drive it flat. You can tell when it's seated flat because the washer will bottom out on the saw case. And again, I've really struggled to find something that was the right size. I ended up going back to my other seal driver tool, which is, again, it's the same thing as the last one, but just bigger. It's a 3/4 inch pipe nipple with a cap. But it's small enough that it'll drive down in. And I don't really like this method because you can drive them in crooked or you can drive them in too deep. So really worth taking your time on this, and I really did take my time on it because I didn't want to bugger it up at this point and have to rip the whole thing back out and start over. So just, you know, very light taps around the top of it, you know, and then checking the work frequently. And it looked even, drove it nice. I'm just kind of checking to see if there's any, you know, little imperfections or anything. I ended up being about as pleased as I could. So there you go. See, just 3/4 inch pipe nipple with a cap. And ideally you'd put like a washer that's the same size or the same, you know, diameter as the seal itself and able to slide over the shaft. And then that kind of spreads the force out because the lip of that pipe nipple is kind of sharp and it's really narrow. So you can end up driving the seal crooked. So I got lucky on this one, you know, checking my work on it. Looks good. And I noticed there's like there's like 3 screw holes on this case here. You can see those 3 screw holes around the shaft. That looks like it's for, I think, like a heated grip saw. So yeah, checking it out here, looking at it, making sure that it's nice and clean, looks good. And yeah, just clean up around the saw. And the next step is to put the flywheel on. We're happy with it. We got oil seals back in. Guess I'm out of frame again here. Find the crankshaft, or not the crankshaft, the flywheel, and just looking for that flywheel timing key that's actually set into the flywheel, I believe, on this saw, if I remember correctly. And just line it up with the slot on the shaft. Washer on. The flywheel nut, obviously. And yeah, sped it up here just to save us all, you know, from watching. Something that's pretty straightforward. Again, to tighten it, rope into the cylinder, and then bam, it's nice and tight, perfect. Don't have to break a sweat on that, just as long as it's snug. Save yourself from, you know, going crazy trying to get the darn thing out. If you ever do pull that flywheel again, you don't have to over-tighten them. Over-tightening them will give you, future you, a lot of aggravation. All right, so trying to get the air deflector back in and then get all the kill switch wire reattached, put everything back into the little clips there and stuff, spark plug back in there, and that was it for the seals. Okay, so just a little summary on this, just to end the video series for this tune-up on the 272 XP. I ended up doing the fuel line change. I didn't get it all on video. I ended up fumbling with it quite a bit. There's really not much space. It's very difficult to feed the line in from the tank. You know, as you can imagine, there's, you know, the tank, the hole is over here that it comes up through. It's on the opposite side of the tank on the top. So you either need really long, you know, needle nose pliers and, you know, the right fuel line. The fuel line that came off of it, this neoprene. Well, you know what? Now that I think of it, I think I actually do have, I'm an idiot. I do have some neoprene that's about the same diameter that I probably could have used. Yeah, I probably could have. Unfortunately, you know, the Tygon that I tried, you know, this, not this line, it was another one like this, and it had like kind of, I think it might have actually been for a McCullough. I don't even think it was actually for one of these Huskies. But you see how they've got that kind of like, you know, that fitting there that's supposed to go up in, and then it seals the hole. Anyway, you've either got to try and pull that down through, and it's a pain in the butt to try and get it down through. So anyway, there's a grommet in there. You can't see a darn thing. It's dark. So what I ended up doing, and this is probably the easiest thing, it's really not complicated at all. It's kind of complicated to show you now that the saw's all back together, is the anti-vibe mounts. There's 4 or 6 of them, I think, in total. Yeah, I think there's two on the, there's 3, 2 and then 3 on each side. Basically remove these 2, the one in the front, and it's the same on the other side. Basically, anti-vibe mount is just a number 4, I think, you know, hex. And then you can pull those right out, and then literally the fuel tank itself, the saw comes and breaks in 2 real easily. I don't think there was anything else I had to disconnect. I know the throttle lever, I had to disconnect it, and it just slides out. And then you can see everything really easily. And then it was just a matter of fishing the line down through and then pulling it through from, you know, basically into the tank as opposed to trying to go from inside the tank and out. Anyhow, maybe some other time I'll show another job of how to do that, or another saw of how to do that. You probably understand what I'm saying, maybe you don't. Anyway, that's how I ended up doing it. Anyhow, got the saw all back together. Works great. No air leaks. And it's all tuned up, good to go. New fuel line, new oil seals. I didn't do the carb kit. There's nothing wrong with it. I just popped the top off to see if it was dirty. It's nice and clean. Diaphragms look good, so I'm not touching it. There's no point in you know, wasting a carb kit on it. So yeah, we're fully serviced. I finally got around to fixing a saw that I like and I use. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I know this was really long, actually. I thought I was going to try and edit it down and shrink it, but it ended up just being too darn long. I just blabber on too long, and just figured I'd make it into a 3-part series. So, you know, thanks if you took your time to watch through all these videos, and, you know, either found it entertaining, or, you know, maybe you found some humor in it all, watching me fumble around. Possibly learn something, you know. Like I said, it wasn't really a how-to video. It's just kind of me trying to do it. Like, I've done oil seals and I've done this sort of stuff before, but never on this particular saw. So it was a learning experience for me. So pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. And yeah, the next saw project here, the next one out of basically the project bin, is this really old home light. This one's going to be a learning curve for me. 530N. These boys were old. I think these were after maybe the 3rd set of saws. I'm not sure on that. I know there was a 20 MCS was the first gas chainsaw, and a 26 LCS, and then I believe it came to this guy here, the 530. And they are a belt drive, which is interesting. Yeah, she's old. Engine turns, it's in good shape. Just need to figure out, you know, clean it up. This carburetor, I have no idea what I'm getting into with that. You can't really see it, but it's, I don't know if they're afloat or not, or if they're a diaphragm. Again, no idea. I'm about to learn a lot. Never worked on, you know, one this old before. So anyhow, that's the next one there. The old 530N, big home light. I got to disassemble down this much here to get the points cleaned up and put it back together. Hopefully we can get her back together and fire it up. I found a belt for it. Share a little secret. You can buy some of these online on eBay, or you can try and find that guy right there. Anyhow, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.